All right, welcome to another episode of Fun Never Ends with Nelson and Friends, broadcasting live from my house in West Covina, California. It's been a warm one. I got to go to the Moon Eyes car show today, so got to see a lot of drags and a lot of hot rods. It's fun. Got to hear some rockabilly bands, so that's always fun. Today we got an amazing guest. She's beautiful, she's talented, from Las Vegas with me via Skype. You can catch her with Dweezil Zappa next year from February on to May. And she's also at Raiding the Rock Vault as well. You can catch her from Saturday through Wednesday at the Vinyl Room. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miss Cian Coey. Cian, how are you?
What's up, Nelson?
How you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for coming on the show. I really appreciate you taking the time out to do this.
I'm happy to do it. Grateful, thank you.
So, what I like to do is I like to get to know you a little bit more. I know you've done a lot of stuff being on the road with Meatloaf, along with your current being on the road with Dweezil Zappa and previous shows, along with your current one with Raiding the Rock Vault. How old were you when you first started getting into music, and how did it progress on?
Well, I was always interested in music since I was, as long as I can remember. Like, when I was, 3 years old, my parents put me into dance classes because I was pigeon-toed, and that was like the solution to my being pigeon-toed. Yeah. They put me in ballet class because they tried like the orthopedic shoes and like the little bar that you have in your crib, and my mom was like, "You're so miserable, I couldn't do that to you." So they put me in dance class because that was the next suggestion from my doctor, and so I ended up doing dance lessons and like took tap, ballet, jazz, and all the way up till like I was like in high school, and that kind of started me out into like performing and music, and then when I was around like 10, 11 years old, I kind of started getting more interested in singing, and I started singing with my dad, and he kind of started me along. He was a singer and a drummer, and he kind of brought me under, up along with him, and so that's kind of how I got interested in music in that way. But so ever since I was just a wee baby, I was always interested in music and performing, and it was always kind of part of me. And I used to do like little shows at parties and things like that when I was a kid.
Right on.
I was a nerd, but
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all.
But yeah, it was a passion of mine since I can remember.
That's awesome. And I read that you had a degree in musical theater. Is that correct?
I have a degree in musical theater, a BFA from the University of Michigan.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I studied. I did a lot of plays and musicals, like growing up in high school, and so I went from like dancing to kind of like doing plays and shows and things like that. And then that kind of morphed into I wanted to be on Broadway. Yeah, that was kind of my goal for a while. But at the same time, like in the summer times, I was singing in bands with my dad, and had that passion for just like rock too. Yeah. So I got my BFA in musical theater, which I have used a couple times, I guess.
That's awesome.
Paying for it forever, but
Very cool.
So that's it's been a journey.
Oh yeah.
But yes, so it's kind of cool how it's ended up. I've been able to do kind of both of them, and then like with performing with Meatloaf and stuff like that, it was kind of he's so theatrical, and also it's all, the band as well. It was cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
How were you casted for the show We Will Rock You?
I ended up in Las Vegas with let's see. I graduated from college and I did 3 national tours of musicals across the states and just like bus truck tours,
Oh, wow.
yeah, just like one-nighter tours. And then the last tour that I ended up with was Saturday Night Fever, the musical.
That's awesome.
And it ended up at the Sahara Casino here in Las Vegas for 5 months, and we ended our tour here. So we were here for 5 months, and then when that show closed, a bunch of us got an audition for another show that was here, We Will Rock You. And so we got the audition, and then that's how I got hired to join that show, and I was in that show for about a year. And so that's kind of how I ended up getting to Las Vegas and living here and staying here. I never had to live here, but somehow I ended up here. It was kind of weird. But yeah, so I was here for about a year, and then I just decided to stay here after that. But yeah, that's how I got the audition for that show, which was a big step in my career. Yeah.
And after that, you moved on to, you got the gig at Raiding the Rock Vault as well, and then as well as Meatloaf. How'd you get the job for Rock Vault?
Rock Vault was, let's see, where was I with it? There was actually another person, as you know,
I'm aware of
in the show at the time, and I was hired as an understudy first, and I did the show a couple times as an understudy, and then a few months into that, I got a call, and they were making some changes in the show, and they asked me if I wanted to move on as a permanent member of the show, and so me and Stephanie Calvert ended up splitting the part, starting in 2015 up until we were done at the Tropicana last year, and yeah, so we split the role up until that point, but yeah, so that's kind of how I got the audition. But originally it was the girl that was in it before. We had known each other from town, from around town, and she, I
know her as well. She's
yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, and so she put my name in, and so I got the audition that way, and then I had to come in and sing the songs, and yeah, so that's how I got the understudy position originally, but yeah, so it's all panned out.
You kill it on those songs.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
For those of you that haven't been Raiding the Rock Vault, Sean sings on Alone by Heart. She does a Fleetwood Mac song as well as a Joan Jett song, and she totally kills it on those songs.
Thanks, Nelson.
Definitely go and catch her. You'll love her. Say that again?
I'll give you your cut later. No, thank you. I'm grateful to do it. I'm really grateful to get to do it, and it's a great show, and it's been 4 years.
4 years. 4 years. Best of Las Vegas.
Yes. 4 years, Best of Las Vegas. Yeah. So
and you guys just did a show in Acapulco too. How was that experience?
That was interesting. It was a whirlwind. We were there for, we flew in like a Thursday, did the show on Friday, flew back Saturday. It was pretty quick. Oh, wow. But it was awesome. It was really fun. It's such a great family of people there, and it's cool. It's a great experience. It's always a great experience. I mean, everybody kind of pulls together and makes it happen. And we had our hiccups and trying to just get the show up and running because you're in another country and it's like, it's overwhelming and you never know what you're going to run into. It's kind of like we have a whole different crew and the schedule, but everybody was great. And it went really well. It was really fun.
And you guys had Bobby Kimball on board too.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did. That was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, that was cool.
Now, I recall seeing a post of yours that there were, while the Rock Vault was going at Vinyl, there was a private event for Rock Vault out here in LA over, I believe, at the Avalon. How was that?
That was awesome. It was that was kind of the same thing. It was just a one-off little show, private event. I still don't know who it was for. I'm not sure. I know Tommy Lasorda was there. I know that was the only name that I recognized. So they were just like announcing people. But it was a birthday party that some kids had thrown for their father, I think.
Wow, that is
and
awesome.
They loved the show, and they knew he loved the show. So they just put up a whole big event there at the Avalon, and it was really cool. Yeah, it was very special. But yeah, it went really well. It was fun.
Now that's a way to have a birthday party. You can't have a birthday party without an amazing rock band.
Yeah, right? I'm like, I would like to do that for my dad.
I like to do that for myself. I like to do that for anybody. That's cool. Moving on to Meatloaf. You were with Meatloaf for quite a bit. How did you score that gig, and how was the tour experience as well as performing with Meatloaf? I know he's very theatrical, and it
was an incredible experience. It was definitely the biggest step in my career for sure, no question at that time, and it came about because they were making some changes in the band, and like around 2014, I got a call from my friend Paul Crook, who I worked with in We Will Rock You, and a lot of the guys from Meatloaf actually worked on that show. So that's how I had the connection to getting the audition for Meatloaf. So Paul called me, and they were looking for new female singers, and I got the audition and went in and sung in the studio, and there were several female singers that went in at the time, and originally I was not not hired at first, and it was for the run at the Planet Hollywood in Vegas. I think it was late 2013 that they were there. So the first run that I wasn't hired for the first run, and like a few weeks into that run, I got a call that they were making some changes again, and they wanted to know if I can come back in and see the show. And I went in and I saw the show, and then I met Meatloaf for a second afterwards, and he was like, he like stood up and he was like, "You're not as short as Paul said you were." like I guess it was. Yeah, I guess they were worried about my size. They were worried I was going to be too small for some of the scenes or whatever, and whatever happened. So I got the call like a few days after that. Then they were like, they're interested in hiring you for the show, so I went in and did a video. We had to do like a video for one of the scenes in the show for Paradise by the Dashboard Light, where they had this like LED screen that came down, and we had to do an acting thing together. So I went in with Meatloaf and did this whole little video, and then when that went well, that was like the official, okay, well, like now you're hired for the for the gig. And so then I was on for the next run, which was like March, April of 2014, and then I was there until the last show that they did last summer, and then we were supposed to go out on tour again in the fall of last year, and then we ended up canceling the tour. The tour was canceled, and so we haven't done anything since then. But yeah, so it's been a crazy run, and then that's when I joined up with Dweezil last summer. So
That's an awesome way to like. You got a great transition from Meatloaf to Dweezil, and I got to see you at the Fauna Theater, and that is an amazing show.
Oh my God, it's an amazing show. It's pretty incredible. I'm very grateful to be a part of it. It's an amazing experience, and to be a part of it with those musicians, and everyone is so at the top of their game. I mean, it's like, I came in, I'm like, I'm just singing. You guys are doing like 8 million things over here. I just want to know my part. Like, all I do is sing. Please don't fire me. It's pretty cool. It's amazing.
And you guys just got back from Europe not too long ago. How was that, doing the gigs in Europe?
It was incredible. Europe is beautiful, and I hadn't been to most of those places before. We did some shows with the Norwegian Wind Ensemble as well. I think they did like 5 shows with us. And that was incredible. Like, just to hear the proper arrangements of the songs with like the real instruments that are supposed to be playing the music. It's pretty incredible. So, it was great. It was great. It's always great. That band is so amazing.
How long did it take you to learn like majority of those parts? Because I know it's a fun show, and it's also a long show with the intermission. So, how long does it take to really prep for?
It depends on the songs, but for me, again, I'm like, because I'm just vocals, I'm like, I can't complain, because some of those guys have to learn so many parts, and how to, just how to make it work on, some of the instruments that they're working on. But, it's a lot of repetition for me. I just have to listen to it a lot. And then finally it gets into my head enough that I can just kind of do it. There's a few songs that I definitely have to print out sheet music just to make sense of the structure of the song, because they're complicated. Some of them,
there's a lot of odd time signatures in those songs.
So some of the songs I have to look at it to see how it makes sense, and then I'm like, oh, okay, well, now I understand how it goes from whatever, 4/5 to 4/5 to 4/4 or whatever time signature from like one to the next. But once I see it, I can make sense of it. But I pretty much, for me, it's just listening to it over and over again, repetition, and then somehow muscle memory comes into play, and then it comes out of my voice. But there were definitely some songs that I came in that first rehearsal when I was like, I really don't think I'm going to be able to do that. Like, I don't think I can sing that note. Like, I don't think I'm, and then somehow it just kind of ended up happening after hearing it a bunch of times. But, it's crazy though. It's so much fun.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a fun show, and I plan on catching it. I know this is the first batch of shows, and definitely you guys are starting off in. It looks like you guys are going to New Zealand.
Yeah. Yes, we'll be there in February.
You guys are going to be down under.
It'll be down under. That's terrible.
And then you guys come back at the end of March, and you guys kick it off in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Yes. And we're in the States until May 12th. I think May 12th?
Let's see. May 13th, New Orleans.
Yes. At Tipitina.
Quite a number of dates, and it's always a fun show, and I can't wait for a second leg of that tour to come onto the West Coast, and definitely see you guys again if I can't fly out to make one of those shows. Yeah, you have to get out there. I'm going to try. It's so much fun, and that's always he's thrown in a lot of different songs. I don't think you saw the last because for Europe we threw in a bunch of new songs, so it was totally different than the show that you saw in LA. Yeah, I can't wait for that. And I'm excited to see how the set list is.
Yeah.
You got quite a number of side projects as well. You're in a band called Brazen as well.
I am in a band called Brazen.
How is that band like?
It's awesome.
Let me rephrase that. How did that project come about? And I know you guys had a recent show as well at Vamped.
We did have a recent show at Vamped. Mary Aiden is the one that I met first in like 2000. Oh God, it was like 2011, maybe 2000. No, God, it was earlier than that. I think it was 2009. I met her in Las Vegas, and she was looking for a new female singer for the band. And at that time, it was kind of more of a dance band, sort of / rock band.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting hired to work with her, and it kind of morphed into more of a classic rock band pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And we've been together since then, and the only reason we don't perform together as much now is because basically once I got the gig with Meatloaf, we were working on Fremont Street in Las Vegas for a while, and we got cut from Fremont Street, which sucked. And then kind of our main gig, and then we kind of were working together for a few months, and then I got the Meatloaf gig, and then so we kind of all sort of spread apart, and we're all doing our own. Everybody's got like 4 bands like right now, but when we can, we pull together and we try to do gigs because it's also like a bunch of the other bands that I get to play with. It's a great family of people, and so when we can get together and play, it's so much fun. And so we did do a gig in November at Vamped, and hopefully we'll do another one soon. Hopefully.
Definitely keep me posted if I can make it.
Yes.
I can make it.
Yes, it's so much fun though. That's one of my favorite bands to play with. It's great. We always have a great time.
Very awesome. And you've got a couple of gigs coming up this week as well. It's called A Very Swinging Christmas on this coming Friday over at the Space LV.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that show? I know it's an awesome Christmas show.
Yes, it's an awesome Christmas show. It's got horns, it's got guitar, it's got an upright bass. It's a whole huge production. It's a ton of people on stage. It's a blast. We've done it a couple times. It's been, I think it's since 2014 was the last time we did it. Mm-hmm. But we try to do it every Christmas. And it's a great production. It's kind of it's got the flavor of sort of like a Brian Setzer style show, like his Christmas show. It's a big band, kind of jazzy, style guitar flavored Christmas songs, and so it's really fun, and I'm really glad we're doing it again this year. But it's a blast. It's a great show. Like for anybody who loves Christmas music, to come out and see that, it's cool. It's fun.
Yeah, definitely. How like the different ways that you can do Christmas music, it's really awesome.
Oh yeah. It's a great arrangement, and the musicians are amazing. It's a pleasure to get to do that kind of a style with a full band like that. It's just like it's beautiful.
That's awesome. And then you've got a following gig the following night over at the House of Blues at Mandalay Bay.
Yes.
With High Voltage featuring also along with 3 Lock Box and U2LV.
Yes. So that'll be a little shift in gears again from the Christmas show to that. That'll be a little bit of a shift to AC/DC.
I believe you guys are doing a tribute to Malcolm as well.
Yes, there is going to be a bit of a tribute to Malcolm as well that we're going to do, and yeah, so it's High Voltage is it's a mostly female tribute to AC/DC. And it's awesome. I've just started performing with them in August this year, and the musicians are amazing. And we just had rehearsal the other day and ran through the stuff. And it's just like, it's a solid rockin' band. It's so much fun, and just the people are great. And I hope we have a great turnout. So, yeah.
I'm sure you guys will. That's going to be an awesome show. And you and Leona on stage is going to be rocking. Hello?
It'll be a blast. She's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
We have so much fun.
Now, what do you like to do on your downtime? I know you work a lot, and aside from all that, what do you like to do on your downtime?
Downtime? What is that? Downtime. Those are my big things right now at the moment. If I get a chance, I do love just like chilling on the couch and watching movies, and yoga. Yes. Books
cool.
are good, but I'm a movie person usually. But
you have a top 5 list of your favorite movies that you highly recommend?
Ooh. Boogie Nights is my first.
Awesome.
It's my favorite movie. The Shining, that's a good one.
Oh, you can't go wrong with that movie at all.
The Shining.
Gotta love
Boogie
Jack
Nights.
Nicholson.
Ghostbusters. Ooh, I know I'm forgetting some. Like The Goonies, that's a good one.
Very nice.
That's tough. I'd have to think of it. Yeah, there's a lot of them. There are a lot of good ones out there, but
those are the main ones at the moment.
Yeah, I'm definitely a scary movie person, but scary movies and weird movies, yeah.
Can't go wrong with those. Those are fun. Let's see. Well, I hope you guys have a great show this Saturday as well as Friday night.
Thank you. Yes, I hope we get a good turnout. We'll see.
You guys should. And then you go back to Rock Vault on Sunday. That's going to be very fun. So I'll definitely be out there on January 20th to come out and see you guys and support you guys.
Awesome.
We're going to wrap this up really as for now. I'd like to thank you to be on the show, and I appreciate the time you've taken. Before I let you go, do you have a road tale that you be able to share?
A road tale?
Like something that that's very interesting that happened to you.
Those are mine. Well, I got the funny part was like my first time on tour with these guys. First impression that I had that week was me puking my guts out in the lobby, and Johnny Kelly, the drummer, helping me picking up buckets of my puke in the lobby. It was disgusting. It was horrible. Yeah, so lobby. I mean, that's why that band is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's
like a family.
So at least it broke me in really well that trip. Yeah, it was definitely embarrassing. So after that, it was kind of well, I don't know what else I can do to embarrass myself this much, because that was my first impression of puking in the lobby in front of the entire band, with food poisoning. It sucked. But,
I hope that never happens again.
Yeah, at least it wasn't alcohol induced though.
That's true. That's very true.
That might have been a better road tale, but
so awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I know it was kind of.
Thank you.
And two more things.
Yes.
Favorite? I know you were in as far as you were in Meatloaf, and you're on the road with Dweezil. Do you have a favorite record of Zappa and Meatloaf, or songs that you really love to perform?
Well, Zappa, he's got so much music, and I am still learning all of it.
Yeah.
I still don't know. His catalog is just so enormous that it's hard to pick but of the ones that I know, some of my favorites were Don't Eat the Yellow Snow. That was the first one that I knew growing up. Like, that's kind of what made me a Zappa fan, at least. Watermelon and Easter Hay was one of my favorite ones from Joe's Garage. And God, he's got so many great ones. But yeah, I don't know. That Dynamo Hum, that's another good one. That's one of my favorite ones. And Meatloaf, I definitely Paradise by the Dashboard Light. That was always one of my favorites. And getting to perform that song was just like surreal. Just growing up and hearing it, you know, going through that whole thing, it was very surreal. But that and Bat Out of Hell. Bat Out of Hell is also one of my favorite songs, too.
Well, those are two great songs. I've listened to the live album when they did with the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra, and it just sounds amazing. Even on its own, it sounded amazing. Yeah. It's amazing. And it's still, like, I know, one of the top selling albums of all time. Yeah, it's a fun song. Hard enough for me to find somebody to do a duet on that song on karaoke. Nobody else I know that knows that song, well, female, that can rock it with me, too.
Which one? Paradise?
Paradise.
Well, yeah, then you have to do the makeout scene.
Yeah, that's true. And more people know the Grease tune rather than that. So until I find somebody for that karaoke song, that I'm out of luck. So, I'd like to thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time out to do this.
Thanks, Nelson. Thank you for having me.
And if you guys are in Las Vegas, catch Cian Coey this Friday over at the Space in Las Vegas for a very swinging Christmas, as well as Saturday at the House of Blues at Mandalay Bay with High Voltage, a female tribute to AC/DC, and catch her back at the Rock Vault on Sunday, and keep going to the Rock Vault.
Yes. Keep going to the Rock Vault.
It's my favorite show.
Is it?
That's one of the reasons I go over there is to support you guys.
Well, thanks, Nelson. Please continue to support us.
Oh, definitely.
We're grateful. Thank you.
If you like what you heard here, please tune in next Sunday at 5:30 p.m. where I have a pop duo from Honolulu, Hawaii, Peria and Danielle. That's 5:30 Pacific time. You can catch all the rest of the shows at my Spreaker page, Spreaker.com/show/Fun Never Ends podcast. Also available on iTunes and Google Play Music for your download and subscriptions. And thank you very much, and have a great night. Until next time, see ya. Bye. Awesome.